Welcome to the Dice Tower, a video podcast about board games and the people who play them. This is a special episode of the Dice Tower in which Tom and Melody Vasel talk about their top 100 games. And now, here are your hosts, Tom, Melody, and Holly Vasel.
All right!
Yahoo! Yeah!
Yay.
All right, it's that time again. Time for our top 100 games.
Woo!
We do this once a year, and this year we're going to do something different. Not just am I going to talk about my top 100 games, but Melody is going to talk about her top 100 games also. All right, let's talk about my top 100 games first. With this, you might think that there's not a whole lot that would change from year to year, but interestingly enough, there is. When I picked my top 100 games, I looked for games that are fun, that are full of theme, and this year, I completely ignored previous lists, and I just thought about how much do I like a game, and how much does that game actually get played? Do I play it a lot? Is it a game I want to play a lot? And so some games changed a lot because of that. But I thought it'd be really interesting this year to take Melody's top 100 games. I think it's interesting to watch my top 100 games over the years and my tastes and change in gaming changing, but hers is going to be really interesting because this year she's 4 years old.
9! I'm 9.
Okay. This year she's 9 years old, and each year as she gets older, we'll redo this top 100, and maybe you'll see how her tastes change. And I had nothing to do with the games she put in her list. She put some games that I thought were great choices. And she put some games that I thought, terrible choices. But they're her lists, and let's see what's in them.
How did you do it? How did you pick the game?
You might be wondering how we put the lists together. And so I want to show you real briefly a little bit on how it's done. Basically, I take all the games that I think possibly might make the list, and I make a huge stack, bigger than this one. Then I shuffle that stack up, and then I take 6 games at a time, and I look at those 6 games, and then I pick, of those 6 games, which ones I like the best. I pick 3 that I like better than others, so I pick these 3, and 3 that I don't like nearly as much. And I'll keep going till I have 2 piles of the 3 that won and the 3 that lost. Then I take each of those piles and split them into 2 piles, doing the same exact thing. So I have a row of 4 piles. At that point, I will take the first pile and I'll go through it, and I take 6 cards, but I only pick 2 of them. And the 2 that I pick from each of those stacks goes into the next stack. And then I do the same thing with this one. To take 6, pick 2 of them, and put them up in this stack. So the best ones from each stack move up to the next stack until I get to the last stack, then I move that one up. And I keep doing that until I have a stack of maybe 20 cards. Then I look through those 20 cards and pull my top 10 games, because it's pretty easy to tell at that point. Then I start at the bottom, go all the way up again, until I got my next 10, and keep going until I got my top 100. Actually though, I went all the way up to my top 270, because that's how many games I happen to have on the list. And the thing is, I really like a lot of games. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you my top 100 that didn't make the list. Numbers 200 to 101. These are great games. In fact, these are good enough to make a top 100 list of their own. I think they're all super games, and just because they're on this list doesn't demean them at all. They're fantastic. It's just that there's that many games. These are out of, right now I've played about 1,750 games. And so these are fantastic, wonderful games. Let's look at them.
100 games?
Well, it's time to do these lists anyway.
interesting things about the list, I'm talking about the top 100 now. In my list, 2 game companies stood head and shoulders above the rest. Those would be Fantasy Flight and Rio Grande Games. And then after that, we see Asmodee and Days of Wonder and Fred and a few other game companies. In Melody's list, the one company that had the most was Gamewright. But that was followed pretty quickly by Rio Grande and Hasbro, along with Playroom Entertainment and a few other game companies. But there was many games on our lists that are from a company that makes just one game. And that's one of the things we like to promote. So this is our introduction to our top 100 list. In each one of the following videos, which we're going to post over the next month or so, we'll talk about a few games on each of our lists. We'll start with 100 and go down, and then we'll get to our best games of all time. I hope you enjoy it. If you want to find out more information about our lists, you can go to www.thedicetower.com. If you're interested in buying any of these games, many of them are available at funagain.com. And if you do that, why not put DICE, D-I-C-E, in it in the coupon code when you check out? It gives us a little bit of kickback so we can get some games that we can talk to you about them. All right, let's get to that top 100 in our next episode. Until then, I'm Tom Vasel.
And I'm Melody. And I'm Molly.
And we'll see you all later.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.